Okay, now it's time for the countercomplaint in the civil domestic case that my wife filed against me. Basically, I was saying that I was never the violent person. It was actually my wife that was the abuser. So this is my countercomplaint where I'm essentially formatting it like a federal case because that's where I would get the best chance of a full due process with a jury trial to explain what happened. But I also will have the chance, I guess, to file my own civil domestic case against my wife. And of course, it still won't have a jury trial or the normal due process. But here we go. This is what the counter complaint is in the case that my wife filed against me. It's document 74. It was filed June 11, 2018. And basically, it's got my wife as the defendant and I'm the plaintiff, but a whole lot of other people also because basically what my wife did, she couldn't have done without a lot of other people helping her do things like prosecutorial misconduct and acting under color of the law. And as it turns out, she's not the first one to actually violate my human rights. So it is really a matter of federal civil rights violation. And basically, it's organized so I can make it like a long movie, and it's organized like the federal court wants it, which is a real good way of structuring civil complaints. There'll be the list of the defendants, there'll be the basis for the jurisdiction, there'll be a statement of claim, there'll be events that support the claim, there'll be facts underlying the claim, there'll be evidence which supports both the facts and the events, there'll be injuries, and there'll be relief. So as we move through the document then, basically you're going to see me as the plaintiff and primarily my ex-wife as the defendant, plus a lot of other people that have been doing civil rights violations on me. Some directly connected with my wife's original civil domestic case against me that helped her do all kinds of unfair things. But in other cases, they weren't related to the civil domestic case at all. They were still just civil rights violations. So I'm, of course, the plaintiff. And there's quite a list of defendants, so I've actually made a separate list. They're too long to fit there. And if we go to previous lawsuits, I mentioned that I have had some previous lawsuits. And as we scroll down, we'll get to the section of basis for the jurisdiction. And so basically I'm saying that both federal officials and state and local officials did violations on me. So I marked both check boxes. And I went ahead and made a separate document and movie playlist to explain the basis for the jurisdiction in both those cases. And basically what I was saying is that my fundamental rights to pursue life, liberty, and happiness and the Essential Bill of Rights were violated. And of course, I feel they were acting under color of the law, so I've made a separate document and movie about that, which is very serious actually, that when you read about that, it says that it's such a serious crime that the FBI is tasked with investigating. And next comes the statement of claim. So I've gone ahead and made a separate document and a movie about that. And where did the events give rise to your claim? Well, it kind of goes way back to 1985, where I first started having civil rights violations, and then it progressed, and over the years basically it just got worse and worse. So I've made an event timeline which kind of shows the very first human rights or civil violations all the way up to the current time. So that's why there's such a long list of defendants. I'm trying to say that those civil rights or human rights were never actually, the violations never actually stopped. They just started and kept going and going. And so that's why I'm trying to end the violations now. Then basically the facts are put into a playlist or separate document as well. And so is the evidence that basically supports the facts and the events. I've got that as a separate document and a movie as well. Then comes the injuries. And there's quite a few, so of course there's another separate document for that and a separate movie. Then basically the relief that I'm looking for, and I've again made that a separate document and a separate movie. And then basically the way the federal court likes it is to certify and close, sign, and then basically just make a note that I have associated digital version of the answer and the federal counter complaint filed out there, so you can access it outside of the court system freely on YouTube and see it play as a video. And of course the same thing of the evidence. I think that's always very important to make the evidence digital and available, very easy for everyone to see, even outside the court. And I started out with the initial special accommodation for the disability that happened when malpractice was done to me at Willamette Dental. But that was just one. I will be making more than one request, so I have a separate document and a movie for all the special accommodations that I'm hoping to have, so that I can actually be as effective as possible. And that's it.